Senate President Don Harmon causing a stir tonight with an amendment he filed to the assault weapons bill that was passed early Friday morning by the Illinois House. The amendment removes language that would require current owners of assault weapons to report to the state police the serial numbers of the weapons they would be allowed to keep under a grandfather clause.
Frankly, the amendment is taking away the real teeth to the bill. So an assault weapons ban that has no way of being enforced isn't really going to do very much.
The move also prompting harsh criticism from House Speaker Chris Welch, who helped the bill clear the House with his own amendments. Welch saying in a statement, "I will not accept a watered-down version of legislation that falls unacceptably short of the comprehensive solutions that the people of this state deserve." Governor Pritzker, who along with the First Lady hosted an open house in the old state capitol today, equally critical, saying the people of this state deserve a real assault weapons ban, one that has a real accounting of the weapons currently in circulation, and the current version in the Senate falls short.
I don't believe we're going to water it down. This is a critical issue that the governor and the House and the Senate Democrats all agree on. We just want to make sure the bill we put on the governor's desk is the best bill possible.
Gun safety advocates once again making the trek to Springfield, keeping up the full court press on lawmakers with the historic legislation seeming so close to becoming reality.
We've been speed dating senators, going door to door and knocking on their doors and talking to them about what we really need in the bill. We want to see serialization and registration put back into the bill.
The group also concerned the law's effective date could be delayed, allowing people time to stockpile weapons that would become illegal. The Senate is expected to make further modifications to its bill over the next day or two before sending it to the floor for a vote. But if the bill does not go far enough, the needed approval from the House could be in jeopardy.
This is not about politics or party. This is about the principles of self-defense. Regardless of which political party you support, we all have a natural-born right to self-defense. That right is affirmed by the Second Amendment to our Constitution, and the Supreme Court has repeatedly stated that lawmakers cannot strip away the rights of law-abiding citizens. And you must understand that these laws will only impact law-abiding gun owners. The criminals will still have guns. There is no provision in this law for getting guns out of the hands of criminals. The bill approved by the House of Representatives only criminalizes current firearms that are already in common use. It says nothing about the behavior of criminals, and those criminals should be held accountable, not the rest of us. I wish we didn't have to carry guns for self-defense. I wish we didn't have to learn self-defense skills to protect ourselves and our loved ones from aggressive people. But wishing and hoping is just not an effective strategy. As long as there are those who will do harm to others, there will be a need for and a God-given right to self-defense. Laws like this one take that right away. And as unintended consequences, they also strip away our right to stand up as a last resort to a tyrannical government should we ever decide we need to. This law, or any law like this, will not make us safer. Criminals will have and will always get guns because guns exist. The only way to completely stop gun violence is to stop making guns and then have government agents go house to house and collect up all the guns that are out there. That sounds an awful lot like a police state, and nobody wants that. Think about the mental gymnastics that anti-gun politicians must do to get this bill to make any sense at all. First of all, they'll tell you that mass shootings happen every day, so we need to have this gun control measure. Then they'll say you don't need a gun because the chances of you being involved in a mass shooting are slim and you wouldn't be able to stop it anyway. Then they tell you that the AR-15 is this ultra powerful weapon of war and no private citizen needs to own one. Then they'll turn around and tell you in the very next breath that if you really needed to stand up to a tyrannical government, you would need more than an AR-15. Then they'll tell you that only the police should have guns like that. And in fact, many anti-gunners will tell you that only the police should have any guns at all. Yet many of those same anti-gunners have said that the police are racist, overly militarized, and way too violent. You can't have it both ways. A firearm is the best tool that you can use to protect yourself and your loved ones. Yes, firearms must be used responsibly, and those who don't do so should be held accountable. And the punishment for misuse of guns should be swift and severe. But no lawmaker should be allowed to tell you which gun you can own to protect yourself. That is a personal choice and your God-given right. You should not have your rights infringed upon because other people have chosen to commit crimes. So the next step on this bill is that it heads over to the Senate now. And remember, the House and the Senate have to pass identical bills, and then they send the one version over to the president to get signed. So if the Senate version is not identical to the House version, then they're going to get together in a conference committee. They're going to try to hammer out the differences. This is where stuff gets thrown out or added in, or the bill gets changed. It can get pretty crazy going back and forth like that. But that doesn't mean we have a lot of time. That means this is happening right now. You need to make it clear to your senators. There's only 2 in every state. You can find them. It's easy. And you need to write and call and email and contact them any way you can and tell them not to pass any version of an assault weapons ban. Any version is an infringement upon our rights. And get ready to vote on the principle of self-defense in the next election. If your elected representative, regardless of party, does not support self-defense, vote for someone else. It's time to preserve these rights for our grandchildren.
Another encroachment on the Second Amendment rights that are guaranteed to each and every citizen of this state.
That was one opponent of a ban on military-style assault weapons, still hoping to block it in the state Senate this coming weekend. The Senate plans a rare Sunday session after the Illinois House approved it very late last night.
Our political editor, Mike Flannery, joins us now to explain and break this all down. Mike?
Tia and Anthony, the current proposal would ban AR-15 style semi-automatic and automatic rifles and ammo magazines containing more than 15 rounds.
These weapons have no place in civilian society, and I believe that everybody in this chamber in their heart knows that to be true.
Already to show his support, Governor Pritzker was on the House floor late last night as members debated banning new sales or transfers of so-called assault weapons. Such a rifle was used by the mass murderer who slaughtered all those people at last summer's 4th of July parade in Highland Park. That's given new emotional impetus to a proposed ban. But opponents of the measure noted that several downstate counties have adopted resolutions declaring themselves sanctuaries for gun rights.
How many counties have filed resolutions that they will not enforce this and their sheriff's departments will not enforce it? And what is the state of Illinois and the Illinois State Police going to do to these counties?
Now, the state Senate does plans to reconvene Sunday evening, 5 p.m. or a little after. Senate President Don Harmon is sponsoring the assault weapons ban. However, he has notably not committed to holding an actual floor vote. One sign the proposal may be in trouble. I'm political editor Mike Flannery.
In Highland Park, the revised bill, if it becomes law, would ban sale of assault weapons and rapid-fire devices, immediately ending the sales of ammunition magazines holding more than 12 rounds. Removed was raising the age to get a FOID card from 18 to 21. Republican opponents say the bill bans many firearms commonly used for hunting and sport shooting, and it even takes away the ability of people to protect themselves and punishes legal gun owners.
This is the people that are going to be forced to give up their magazines and register their guns are legal, lawful owners.
At this point, anyone who has followed the gun debate understands the gun control lobby's playbook. Wait for a tragedy, make sure it happened in a suburban or gentrified metropolitan area, make sure enough people died, make sure the people that died were predominantly white, make sure the gun used looks like an AR-15, whether it is or it isn't. Then get a bunch of kids and helicopter house moms whose solution to everything is government do something, send them to the Capitol building of that particular state and yell and scream at the politicians, waving posters and signs sponsored and donated by Michaels, and then have the politicians ban AR-15s or ban assault weapons. However, if there's a shooting committed with a handgun in the inner city every 30 seconds, don't even bother, because as long as that type of stuff stays in the inner cities, they don't care. I'm not just playing the race card, I'm just calling it how it is. Anyone who has followed this debate, regardless of their race, knows how true this is. Kids in Chicago have been shooting at each other like it's a video game for years, but no real attempts to solve that issue have taken place. But one kid commits a shooting in a more affluent part of the city, and now the Illinois House is scrambling to pass an assault weapons ban, which we all know will do absolutely nothing to save lives, because there are over 44 million AR-15s in this country. Unless they're going to confiscate those AR-15s, they're going to remain out there. And even if they wanted to confiscate them, how could they if they don't know where they are and who has them? Oh, that's right. They're gonna make the people who already have them register them. And why do you think they're doing that? So that after there's another tragedy, after the initial assault weapons ban, which doesn't work, they can turn around and say, all you people who registered your grandfathered AR-15s, turn them in or you'll go to jail. And we know you have them because you registered them. This isn't new. This is literally the exact playbook that they used in Canada and Australia. We all know the criminals aren't going to register their guns, so that means the only people who would be turning the guns in are the law-abiding citizens, the very people we're not worried about. And at that point, the only people who will have AR-15s will be the criminals. That doesn't make the people safer, puts them in more danger. At that point, it's only a matter of time before they start saying they need to ban handguns. It's not like they haven't done this before either. One of the most famous 2A cases was McDonald versus City of Chicago, where the court held that Chicago's citywide ban on handguns was unconstitutional. Just like this assault weapon ban is unconstitutional. Everyone thought because of this recent Supreme Court ruling that the gun control lobby would stop trying to ban guns. Man, please, this just emboldens them. They're never gonna stop because all they have to do is win once. They don't lose anything. They're backed by billionaires who are willing to spend whatever amount of money needed to destroy the Second Amendment, because the only thing they desire more than money is power. And power comes with control. And as long as they can control who has the guns, they have the power. Only thing stopping them from what they want is we, the people. As long as we continue to push back against these laws and continue to educate and enlighten the people around us and let our political representatives know that if they vote for gun control, we'll be voting them out of office, we'll be able to stave off the gun control lobby. Unfortunately, it'll always be an ongoing thing because they'll never stop trying. So it's incumbent upon all of us to never stop defending the Second Amendment, because we are literally the only country in the world where the citizens have the right to bear arms to the degree that we do. And we need to keep it that way.
You know, we talk a lot about empowerment in this country, except for when it comes to the Second Amendment. However, I can't think of anything more empowering than having the most effective tool to protect you and your family. So help me spread this message by liking and sharing this video with everyone you know. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment, because the Second Amendment, when it said militia, it wasn't talking about the government. It was talking about you.